You know what time it is, boy! It is time for the Showtime Forum post-game report. And I'm telling you right now, you can't calm Chaz down right now. My man tearing up his body, tearing up his whole home after what we just saw, man. We ain't doing topics. We ain't doing none of that, bro. Tell me what you thought of this game all the way down to that very last Anthony Davis shot. And that's really the tweet. Anthony Davis is all we're going to talk about tonight, really. But talk to me, man. Talk to me.
AD, that's it. That's the tweet. I don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi right now. Probably because I've been stomping around my whole living room, going crazy, jumping up and down, screaming to the top of my lungs. I mean, I lost my mind like I haven't lost my mind in over 10 years since Ron Artest, Metta World Peace, put in that putback against Jared Dudley's Phoenix Suns in 2010 to give us a 3-2 lead. Man, I lost my mind. Just between Charles Barkley's comments on the halftime show, all the comments that you've seen, like with Maria Taylor and other people not even voting AD on their first team All NBA teams, or even actually she didn't vote him on any of the three teams, actually. And I know it was maybe an omission, but I mean, Reggie Miller and C-Web, they're also having comments and saying things about, AD's killer mentality and does he have it in him, and questioning this and questioning that. And AD just hit shot after shot, and he had to redeem himself. I was live tweeting for the Showtime Forum, Twitter page, our Showtime Forum page, and I said, right after Jokic hit that last hook shot over AD to go up with about 13 seconds left, I tweeted, give it back to AD so that way he can redeem himself. And obviously the play wasn't for him. If you watched the post-game show, if you guys are watching, LeBron obviously said the play was for him, but Rondo just locked eyes with AD, and they just had that special connection. And
absolutely.
Rondo was able to give AD a clean bounce pass to the wing, and AD just straight cashed it. I couldn't, nothing but net, nothing else. I mean, that goes up there with Ron Artest, Robert Horry's Game 4 shot against the Sacramento Kings, Derek Fisher's point 4 shot. AD is already a certified Laker in his first postseason.
Absolutely.
And is hitting historic shots that we haven't seen in over a decade. I mean, damn. What can you say, man?
What can you say? And there's a couple of things, man, that kind of led to this moment. This game was sloppy all the way through. Let's just say it. It was sloppy. It was weird. Butterfingers everywhere. LeBron James kept us in the game in the beginning, essentially by scoring the first 10 points. And then you see this timeout video, man, where Vogel says we gotta. He talks about the offensive swag, and then he starts talking about the jersey that they're wearing, right? And you start seeing this. You guys
got the jersey on.
I mean, he starts talking, and then he brings all the attention back to what really gives us the motivation that nobody else has, right? Like it's not just a historic franchise, but you're talking about you're wearing the jersey of the man who was made for these moments, right? And so on a last-second shot in the Western Conference Finals against the Denver Nuggets, going for 31 points when you only had like 9 points in the first half, to watch AD step into a role like that was, I mean, the whole thing was just magical. And I'm going to be honest, if we end up winning the championship, if everything goes the way we hope it goes, we're going to look back at this very moment the same way we look back at Metta World Peace, the same way we look back at Robert Horry, the whole nine. It's just one of those moments where you go, that was a defining moment for this team. That's what made them. That was that moment. That shot by itself. For everything else was great. Everything else was great. And to be honest with you, I said this earlier. You needed this game, right? You needed a game where you played horrible and sloppy, and could you still put something together to win? Because Denver came to play today. I don't know if anybody noticed, man, but Denver played a great game today. Jokic had 30 points. Murray had 25. And you had Porter off the bench, who was way more offensively engaged this game. And so it wasn't like the Denver Nuggets weren't giving their all. And so to be able to win, even if it was by 2 points on a last-second three, to go up 2-0. Listen, and you guys are saying it in the chat. They're saying it all over the chat, man. Job's not done. This is not about the job being done. This is about the emergence of a superstar in his first year, making a name for himself. LeBron James had 26 points, and really, to be honest, in the fourth quarter, he really had some really bad moments, man. Some ill-advised threes, a late turnover, which ultimately led to the Nuggets getting that 1-point lead. And to watch Anthony Davis come in and shore up the foundation, and you said it, going back to AD was the key. And LeBron just, I mean, you could tell that, like, this wasn't even a play that was drew up. The play they had went horribly wrong. They only had 2 seconds left. They inbound the ball. Anthony Davis steps in and saves the day, man. So I just want to kind of throw some of these comments at you so that you can kind of address these chats. So James Michael says he's still shaking. He said still shaking. And job is not done. So I want to just address that because D Million also agrees with him. What do the Lakers do from here? Like, what does it even look like coming out of this game, right? Going into game 3, do you change the game plan up? Game 1 was a blowout. Game 2 was real close. And obviously we have 2 more wins we got to get in this series. What do the Lakers need to do adjustment-wise to ensure that they can get these last 2 games?
Not sit Dwight Howard for an entire third quarter. Maybe that's a start. That'll help. Yeah, I don't know why he didn't see the floor for that long. That would be the first adjustment that I would do. I would actually start Dwight instead of JaVale. I don't know why why you go to Dwight to start the second half but not start him in the next game, nor play him for the entire third quarter. But at the end of the day, it's really going to be about defense. We really have to keep our foot on the gas in this next game 3. Game 3 is going to be their backs against the wall. I mean, they can come back from 3-1, but I don't think they're coming back from 3-0. And that's the chance that we have to go up 3-0 on Tuesday. And they played a great game. They had less turnovers than us. They had more steals than us. If it wasn't for that last pass from Rondo, they'd have more assists than us. They had more points in the paint than us. I mean, they kind of beat us at our own game, really.
Yeah.
And we had a 16-point lead in the second quarter and just kind of relinquished it because we just weren't focused down the stretch and didn't play great defense and had a lot of miscommunication on the perimeter. And I didn't feel comfortable with Rondo being really closing the game with a minute left or under 2 minutes left. I wanted to have Caruso more so out there with KCP and Danny Green, Bron and AD, but having Rondo out there, there was a corner 3 that happened, and if that's Danny Green or anybody else, I mean, I'm thinking that 3 goes in, but KCP had a huge shot that he missed as well. Yeah. And LeBron, obviously, that air ball, Skip is going to be all over him for it. That air ball that he had with, I think 2 or 3 minutes left.
He pump faked and he went for it anyway. He shouldn't have pump faked.
He pump faked, and that shouldn't have been a shot that he took, or he shouldn't have pump faked. But either way, some of the pundits are going to be on him for that, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, 2-0 is 2-0 is 2-0 is 2-0. And you have a chance to go up 3-0. Yeah. In the Western Conference Finals to go, in LeBron's case, his 10th finals.
That's crazy.
I think he'll be locked in. I think he'll be locked in. I think, obviously, he had it going early in the first half. And I just don't understand why Vogel sits him for so long when he sees that he has it going like that. That's another question, that I have. But at the end of the day, there's a reason why he's the coach and I'm not the coach or anybody else is the coach. So, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt at the same time. And when some of the question that I would have. And, I'm looking forward to Tuesday.
What
are we, 3-0 in the Mamba jerseys, though?
We haven't lost a game in that Mamba jersey. Yeah, but that Mamba and that GG tag, we don't have it.
Either 3 or 4.
Yeah, it's every time we wear it.
Check that out for us, but I think we're 3 or 4-0.
I have a theory about the Dwight Howard thing, and I'm going to be honest. Dwight Howard got 2 fouls in 7 minutes, okay? He only played 13 minutes tonight and had 5 fouls in those 13 minutes. The only thing I could come up with, and it may or may not be true, the only thing I can think of is that he knew that Denver was going to make a run tonight. He knew it. He knew they were going to come out different. He knew the refs were going to call it different after Malone said what he said. The Denver Nuggets go to the free throw line less than any other team that came to the playoffs, came to the bubble in the playoffs. And so in my head, I knew something was wrong when he got those two fouls, and they were calling fouls against Howard, that like offensive fouls and weird things. And so even when he got into the game, as soon as he got in, within the first 30 seconts, got a foul immediately, right? So I feel like the only reason he was trying to
Dwight was a little too amped up.
He was, and I love the energy. I love the energy, but I feel like that's the only thing I can think of. But still, even with that, you kind of got to sparse that out, man, because once you let the Denver Nuggets get going, listen, we were lucky tonight because we have Anthony Davis, and this is the difference between like us and I'm just throwing this out here. The difference between losing a 16-point lead with the Clippers and us is that when you needed Paul George to step up, he couldn't, and it's not, and that's no shade to him. It just that's not his forte. In this instance, where LeBron James didn't have it going in the fourth and all the weight being on him, Anthony Davis could step in. And it wasn't just the three. The shot before that put us up by one before Jokic came back and hit another one on him. The floater. So just having somebody who's able to take the offensive pressure off, I think makes a world of difference. Here we go. D Million says, we out here. Let's go. Great team. Blake St. Clair. Now, this is a huge comment because Blake, I'm telling you, Blake holds us accountable. Blake says, clutch AD. So are we? Is this a? Are we giving him the title of a clutch player?
Yeah, I mean, yes, absolutely. When you hit a shot like that in the Western Conference Finals, to go up 2-0 at the buzzer,
yeah.
Drop 31 and 10. I mean, look, man.
You doing something.
Playoff buzzer beaters are hard to come by. Buzzer beaters are hard to come by.
Right.
Playoff wins are even harder to come by. Playoff wins off buzzer beaters are even harder to come by. So, yeah, I can put AD down as a clutch player. I've always known that he was a clutch player. People saying that he disappears in the fourth or he doesn't have that dog in him or does he have the killer mentality or this and that? Literally, less than 2 hours ago, these questions were being asked on this halftime show.
Yep.
On that TNT Rocks that we all rock with. Everybody, I got it recording right now. As soon as we get off this, I'm going to go finish off and see what Charles and Shaq and Kenny and Ernie have to say. Like, we all watch that. So, I mean, for him, for Chuck to say that and hours later, AD to just stick it to him with a swishing three-pointer right in Jokic's face for the win. I mean,
that was it.
It doesn't get much better than that.
It does not get much better.
That's it. We didn't even go the show with any topics because that's the only topic. Anthony Davis. I don't want to talk about LeBron's 20 points. I don't want to talk about Danny Green's terrible play but still making shots. I don't want to talk about Kyle Kuzma, still being inconsistent. I don't want to talk about any of that. All I want to talk about is Game 3 on Tuesday and Anthony freaking Davis, 31 and 10 game-winning shot. Jokic, what you gonna do about that?
Let me tell you where I saw the switch flip for AD is when he hit that first impossible shot for that three that was just a little bit earlier than that, and he turns around to the Nuggets bench and just talks to him. Now that's
about that.
Yeah, that level of I want the smoke, knowing that the game is not over, knowing that it's still a close game. It wasn't like I'm hitting a three to extend the lead to 16. It was going to be a dogfight from that point out, and he had no problem antagonizing and poking the bear. And at the end of the day, he had the last.
It was to put him up like 4. No, it was to put him up 8, 100 to 92. That's what that shot. And they went on a run. We only won by 2, 105-103. So we only scored 5 points. They scored what is that? 13 points.
Yep.
In that last 2 minutes. So AD, man.
AD,
we need an answer. We got bailed out because I'll tell you this. Me personally, there's a lot I could kill this team for. They made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
And the next 24 to 48 hours, we're not going to be kind to this team.
No.
But Anthony Davis.
They committed 30 personal fouls and had 23 turnovers. And here's the good and the bad about that. 19 of those turnovers came in the first half. Right? And then
24 turnovers.
23 turnovers, and you had 4 in the second half. And one of those turnovers was LeBron slipping in the fourth quarter. So up until that LeBron moment towards the end, you only had 3 turnovers in those 2 quarters. So they made some adjustments, but it still wasn't enough. There was too much going on with that. And of course, people are bringing up the people that we don't want to talk about tonight. But our boy E-Money on Periscope says, Kuzma sucks, homie. He tries to go one-on-one with Porter. And to be honest, if it was just them, they could probably go toe-to-toe. Porter only had 15 points tonight. So it's not like Porter was, on some astronomical, offensive run. They both have their own moves and stuff like that. But to be honest, Porter is far more necessary to the Nuggets winning than Kuzma is to us winning. If Kuzma sucks, we can still win. We've proven that.
Ding, 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 ding.
If Porter does not score at least 15, they don't even have a chance. And you kind of see that tonight with him being more offensively engaged. It made a difference in the score. They still didn't win. But they gave a huge fight, man. I mean, it's not like I said. I got to keep going back to this. The Nuggets put up a fight. Nikola Jokic had 30. Murray had 25. Anthony Davis had 31. LeBron James had 26. You're talking about both stars were pretty much a point away from each other.
Playing.
Yeah,
they was playing today, man. Both sides, great game.
And I'm gonna tell you what
who wins in all this. Obviously, the Lakers win. My bad.
No, go ahead.
Adam Silver in the NBA wins. I think word is Adam Silver is quarantining right now, or at least making his way to the bubble. One of the two.
Oh,
I know I saw that in the last 24 to 48 as well.
Yeah,
but the NBA is winning right now. I mean, is anybody watching Cam Newton and Russell Wilson right now? Maybe some people are, but I mean, I know some people are watching this post game and some people are watching TNT, and a lot of people saw that AD shot right now. So the NBA is definitely winning for that.
I saw this. D Million brings up a point that I saw by one of the Kamenetsky brothers. He says, "What they say about the young core that we gave up too much." Laugh out loud. And one of the Kamenetsky brothers
tweeted.
Kamenetsky?
Okay.
No. This is D Million was just laughing at making the comment about how people were saying how we gave up, too much. But one of the Kamenetsky brothers kind of echoed D Million, and he said, to be honest, we didn't give up enough for AD. What we gave away was still a steal for us because the value that he brings is just incredible. I don't think people realize the numbers he's putting up in these playoffs. This is not normal stuff, man. Like, he's hitting 30 pretty much average. Dude had 2 blocks. He was on the offensive rebounds. I mean, he was doing everything tonight. And it's almost like he does it so often we forget that it's transcendent and it gets overshadowed because LeBron James is on the team and he's breaking a record almost every other game and doing something crazy and passing somebody up. And so you look at that and both of those people are wearing Laker jerseys.
I mean, you average 34 in the Western Conference Finals, which is what he's averaging through 2 games. You're going to do something. And really quick, I see a tweet out here. Did Anthony Davis say Kobe after hitting that shot?
If he did?
Yeah, it looks like it.
If he did?
I think he did. He said Kobe.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it right there. I'm telling you.
And Chris Camello, I'm reading a tweet from him as well. He said, could you imagine if that shot would have been at Staples Center? I mean, just imagine.
I don't think we go home. So, I don't think we go home. I think We Love LA plays on repeat.
Nah. We party with the statues.
Yeah.
Kareem, Chick Hearn, Magic, Elgin, Shaq. We just party out in Star Plaza, and I mean, this is a night that I'm just mad I have work tomorrow because I wish I could just. You know what I mean?
I luckily I work from home, so I'm gonna be watching and watching all the stuff, and it's gonna be mandatory NFL day tomorrow on most of the sports shows. But they're gonna have to talk about this game, and obviously
they don't have to talk about this AD shot.
They have to. They have to, man.
Skip.
They have to.
Skip.
No, Skip's not gonna talk about the AD shot. He's not gonna talk. He's gonna talk strictly about LeBron. And that's fine, man. You could do that because you still got to talk about us because we're still playing, unlike his team. Let me see here. Yeah, here we go. Bit better bench production. That game is over long before that last shot. So basically, if the bench would have produced more, and nobody was in double digits, Caruso had an incredible defensive game. I would say, super active in the passing lanes, man. Yeah, he had 9 points. He almost hit double digits, but he was a huge reason why the energy came up the way it did. And that dunk that he had, man, was just it was perfect. It was perfectly timed for us. We needed that momentum, and he did his thing, man. But everybody else kind of struggled. Kuzma gave you 8, Howard gave you 3. Rondo gave you 3. But here's the thing: Rondo also gave you 9 assists. I think people forget that Rondo's responsible for is not really scoring, even though he can. He's responsible for carrying the offensive playmaking load that LeBron would normally have when he's in there.
He hit a big 3.
Yeah, he hit a big 3. Yeah. And this is the second game in a row he's had 9 assists. Adding 9 assists, and I think we set a record, the last one with 33 assists in a Western Conference game. So, like, that's huge. And this is what the Lakers are doing on bad nights, guys. We have yet to put together a complete game. Even the last game wasn't a complete game.
Defensively, we got to pick it up. Next game, it has to be a defensive onslaught. It has to be. Because what other chance do you have? You don't. I mean, we can outscore this team. We could beat this team multiple different ways, but let's hang our hat on defense. Let's actually get this next win by shutting them down defensively and doing exactly what we did to Houston, to Portland. Do the same thing to this team. I want to see a full defensive effort for 48 minutes. We haven't seen it yet in the Western Conference Finals, and we're still up 2-0. So that's what I'm looking forward to, and that's what I would want to see. As well as just a little bit more better adjustments on the rotation, because Dwight can't sit for an entire quarter. I mean, it just can't happen. And
in fact, Blake says
outside of that, I'm not worried about it.
But Blake Sinclair says Dwight is a big key to this series, and I can't argue with that. I mean, the 2 games he's played, his energy's been necessary, his defense has been necessary, his fouls have been necessary. I don't know what this series looks like if Dwight's not on the floor.
Man, if Dwight's not on the floor, then Jokic is probably averaging 28 plus.
Oh man,
realistically, because AD, because AD, you could see AD is going to play great defense on him, but great players are going to get theirs regardless. Like, you're never going to stretch a great player all the way down to the point where they're not even affecting the game. Yeah. So Jokic is a great player. Is he a transcendent player like AD? Could be. Well, the jury's still out. But we can hang our hat on the fact that AD has supplanted himself, in my eyes, as a clutch player, as a Laker legend already by hitting that legendary shot.
Yep.
I mean, obviously he has to complete the deal and bring home the chip. But, I mean, if you're hitting shots like that, I mean, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion at this point. I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to horn too much, but I mean, at this point, Denver probably played their best game that they're probably going to play, and they still lost, and they came back, and they got and coming back from 3-1 versus 3-0. You put them down 3-0 against LeBron James to go to his 10th finals. Yeah. Call the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, it's a wrap, man. It's a wrap on that. I know we have 2 more games. Job is not done. They're going to come out even more resilient in the 3rd game because, once again, their best games are played when they're facing elimination. They know if they go down 3-0, they're going to come out scrapping like crazy. I don't get nervous about that, and I'll tell you why. I actually wasn't as nervous tonight. I got nervous at the very last shot because I was like, man, that play was going to be it. And so for us to be able to hit that shot in the last 2 seconds was a game saver. But for the most part, the veteran leadership that we have is just it's so invaluable.
Off the charts.
It's off the charts, man. And like just knowing that the guys have been in some of these moments, they understand these moments. Danny Green has been in these moments. Rondo's been in these moments. We already know LeBron has. Here's what's crazy. I'm not sure who's. It says Showtime Forum, so I don't know if it's Jay Watt or who's on tonight. But it says Lakers have the most playoff wins at the buzzer. 8 playoff buzzer wins. Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, Robert Horry, Derek Fisher, Kobe, Metta World Peace, and Anthony Davis. Now, that's crazy. Well, I don't know. Was Metta World Peace at the buzzer? I thought there was still time when Metta World Peace hit that shot.
It was at the buzzer.
It was at the buzzer. Okay.
Caught a Kobe air ball at the end of Game 5 and threw it in, and
that's right. I'm thinking of the 3
lost
he
their
hit.
minds. And that's what hit that set up that Game 6 epic game that Kobe had where he hits the 3 over or hits the fadeaway J over Grant Hill and slaps Alvin Gentry on the butt and does the airplane all the way over to the bench on the way to the finals. So I mean,
absolutely,
this is memorable. This is memorable just like that. I'm gonna remember jumping up and down and hitting my wrist on my damn wall and just Going crazy, man. But
Oh
I got to
man.
get some ice after the show, man.
Yeah, I could already tell you go. It's gonna be
But
sore in the morning, man.
it's worth it. It's worth it to go up 2-0 straight cash, homie, right in Jokic's face,
Yeah,
right after
man.
telling the bench that he was about that and hitting that other three. I mean, and I
That's
knew it
it.
was coming back to him. I knew it was, and thank God Rondo was on the floor taking the ball out in that last play because the play wasn't even for AD, and they
No.
just had that synergy like we talked about,
Yeah.
and he was able to get it to him on the wing. And LeBron said something interesting because Jokic was able to come out on AD. It forced AD to shoot it a little bit higher.
Wow.
Another shot that was like that was Kobe over Theo Ratliff at the end of the
Oh
2004
man.
season or three season,
Yeah.
2004 season actually.
Yeah,
And
man.
Kobe hit those 2 game winners, and that second one was a swish, just like AD's. When you got to shoot it just a little bit higher over somebody at 7 foot reaching out, in front of you, you got to shoot it, give it that little extra touch, and when you got that touch, it's nothing but net. You got to yell Kobe after him,
Got
and it was
to.
over.
You got to. You have to, man. Here's a great comment, man, Hamad, and this is good. We can probably jump into this as well. He says, it doesn't have to be this hard. A lot of turnovers, sloppy play. Most importantly, the job is not done. And I love that we keep in that energy. We know the job is not done. Listen, guys, this does not mean we won the championship. None of that. Once again, what we're celebrating tonight is not winning the series. It's not even really just winning the game. It's the circumstances and the people. So here's the thing. You're going to have moments. You're going to have games where it's just a turnover game. It's just, it happens. It happens to every single team. You're either going to have games where your shot's not falling or where there's turnovers or where the energy is low. You're going to have at least one or two, especially in the playoffs. To see the team fight through that and still be able to come out with the W, to me, speaks volumes. And I said this before. You needed a game where you could see how you would handle a bad game and still have a necessity to win, still have a will to win. And so, yeah, there's plenty of stuff. Chaz just said it. They're going to have to go back to that tape and they're going to eat that stuff alive. There's so many things that went on in this game that were unnecessary. And here's what's key. All those
Turnovers. They had more points in the paint than us. That can't happen.
That cannot happen. And you had a 16-point lead at one point, even with the turnovers and all the mess ups. So the idea is that you were still able to play a great game despite the turnovers. There are some things that had nothing to do with turnovers. The defense is bad. The attacking the paint. Jokic being able to back down AD, that can't happen. All that stuff.
Turnovers.
Yeah, there's so much at this team. And what I love is, if this is the next 2 games is the way you kind of get or the next 2 wins is what you want to say, is how you get yourself prepared for the finals. If you really want to do some fine tuning, this is where you lock down in that film room and you get serious, because we only have 6 more wins. I had to do the math. 6 more wins, bro.
6 more. We're 6 wins away from a championship. It literally just hit me. I haven't thought about it. After every win, you think about it, but I've been so caught up in the shot and talking about other shots and other memorable shots and other, the next game, our defense and this and that. We are 6 wins away, Laker Nation. We right there. Let's not look too far ahead.
Yeah.
I know we feeling it. We had this feeling before. We know what it's like. We can taste it. We smell blood in the water. That's what it is. But at the end of the day, we got to just lock in, play defense, and not look too far ahead like the Clippers did.
Absolutely.
Because they was up 16 too.
And they had a 3-1 lead. So
3-0 is different than 3-1. That's why that next
true.
game is that important.
Yep.
Keep saying it.
Yep. That could have been the game. This is from Blake Sinclair on YouTube. That could have been the game that broke the Nuggets. That was the game for them to win, or to win for them. It feels like it could be 2 more
like
straight.
if you played your best game and still lost, that's the thing. So that could be the game that really takes their will. So that's why this next game, you have to just pummel them defensively and not let up. I expect at least a 15-point win on Tuesday.
Absolutely. And here's what's crazy. The first game, their excuse was that the Lakers had so many fouls, and we did. They committed 20 fouls in the first half. So it was a huge disparity between the foul calls in the first game. But in this game, it was the exact opposite. The Lakers had 30 personal fouls. So it's not even when you go back and look at the film, of course they're going to look at things that they could utilize better. But at the end of the day, you did everything you possibly could in that game to make it work, and it didn't. You had Dozier flexing, and I say this all the time, man. I say this is a team that responds to disrespect. Part of the reason why Anthony Davis was talking the way he was talking was because I know he heard disrespect coming from the bench. And when Anthony Dozier got that, or with PJ Dozier, sorry, he did the flex. That was a wrap.
Yeah, when he got that, and he missed a free throw after. You don't flex and then get an and one in the playoffs, and then you want to miss a free throw after. You don't do that. You don't do that. And then you miss, man. And I think he missed back-to-back free throws the next time he went to the line as well.
Yeah,
pressure busts a pipe, man, and you can't just be out there flexing. No. And that's why he was the one that hit the ball all hard as soon as AD cashed it. Go back, everybody. If anybody's watching this post game, me, I'm gonna go back and watch it as well. You watch that play, AD puts up the shot, goes right through the net. I'm over here dying laughing because PJ Dozier is hitting the ball like it's a handball out of bounds because he's so damn mad that they lost. Like, you can't be out there flexing, man.
You can't.
Then you're just looking stupid, hitting balls out of bounds and walking off the floor down 2-0. Can't do it. Can't win with them.
Cannot, man. Cannot. And James Michael says on Periscope, refs were calling it tight. I hope they give warnings. I hope they gave warnings before the text came. And to be honest, the Lakers in this series have had some really odd texts. Really both the last two series with Rondo's brother.
Phil Handy got a text.
Yeah, like out of all the people to give it to, Phil Handy?
I don't love to see it, but I love to see the fight, the aggressiveness, the mindset that not only the players have, but the coaching staff. I mean, Judy Cito, I'm sure Nina Shea. I mean, I'm sure they all have that same aggressiveness, that same Mamba mentality, because it's just infectious from the top all the way down to the bottom. And it starts with LeBron and it ends with the equipment guy or even the ball boys wiping up the floor. Everybody is locked in. So I love to see it.
It's infectious, man. It's infectious. It's absolutely infectious. And I love seeing the energy. And we have the loudest, most active bench really in the playoffs in general, but especially out of the four teams that are left. Nobody brings and it's not fake energy. It's like real life. We are engaged the whole nine. J.R. Smith is engaged. Everybody's engaged, even if you're not playing. And that just bleeds, man. It just bleeds over into the team, and it keeps them focused and it keeps them pumped. Lakers Metropolis says someone on the Nuggets is probably saying that was a bad shot. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I don't think anybody could argue that Anthony Davis just pulled that up clean, right behind the 3-point line. Jokic played great defense. It just didn't matter because Jokic cannot jump. He just he might as well be 6'3" if he's the way he jumps. And so Anthony Davis clearly could see the basket over him.
I always knew AD was gonna hit big shots for us because you go back. I know it was a regular season game, but I think he hit like a double clutch 3 for the win in New Orleans against the Thunder. And I think that was on KD. Somebody, I mean, if somebody's in the comments, you got YouTube, whatever, go back, let me know. You know what? I'll tell you guys right now. But I think he did. I think he hit a big shot, and it was in the regular season. But that's when I always knew when we got him that he would hit big shots. And that I think it was going to come in a Black Mamba jersey in Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. No, but it did. I'm sure glad that it did.
I'm so glad that it did too, man. Somebody says this. Kuz needs to focus. He took it personal with Michael Porter, and a part of me, I understand that because he's
That's
not
what you want. That's
yeah,
what
I'm
you
about
want.
to say.
I just want you to hear that criticism. That's what you want. You want to take it personal. I mean, obviously not to the detriment of the team, but you want to be able to go back at guys and tell guys, what it is. Yeah, it was. It was a clutch buzzer beater against KD. Man.
Oh wow.
Man, that was.
Yeah, I'm in agreement, man. I know, and I want to make sure that everybody understands this sober-mindedly. I'm not comparing Kuz to Kobe. But if Kobe were coaching this team, right, what do you think he'd be telling Kuz if Michael Porter Jr. was cooking him on the offensive end? Number one, get your defense together. And then number two, you need to attack that cat, right? I think about that mentality that Kobe would have. Now, obviously, the key to what you said, it can't be to the detriment of the team. And there was a couple of shots where it was like, hey, man, you don't need to do that. But you want them to be feisty. You don't want them to back down. You don't want them to have that attitude. And to be honest, I would almost imagine had he actually started hitting shots, LeBron and AD would have been egging that dude on to keep going. Right? They're that kind of team.
Oh
I
yeah.
think, I think Michael Porter Jr. A couple of those shots, I just didn't even understand how he made them, to be honest with you. But hats off to him.
He had big shots.
He hit big shots. Winning a game with 24 turnovers says a lot about the team. I can't think of another game where you could turn it over 24 times against a team like the Nuggets and still win.
Does that tell you more about the Lakers, or does that tell you more about the Nuggets? Because to me, that stat right there, the Lakers have 24 turnovers and wins the game. That doesn't say more about the Lakers to me. It actually says more about the Nuggets and how they just lack the discipline that's necessary not to be able to convert on 24 made turnovers. I mean, I think they had 21 turnovers themselves.
Yeah.
So, and the Lakers they're not going to turn the ball over that much in games 3, 4, or 5 moving forward. So, I mean, I ultimately, Jamal Murray and Jokic and the Nuggets only had 3 fewer turnovers than the Lakers. So, that actually shows more to me about the Nuggets. What about you?
To me, it's a mixture of both. I think they're if you have a mentality of superiority, you could approach the 24 turnovers and be like, oh, we still got this. I don't think the Lakers took it that way. I think the Lakers knew that with that many turnovers they could lose the game, and I think they put an emphasis on making sure in the second half to closing that down. Obviously, taking it down a dramatic amount from 19 all the way down to 4. So being able to limit the turnovers in the second half was key to me. I think that what you said is far more important though. How Denver handled those 24 turnovers, and let's be honest. I got to point this out as well because Denver wasn't too far off of that. They had 19 turnovers themselves, and so it wasn't like there was a huge disparity in the turnover battle. So there was a lot of different defense being played. Obviously, it was being played a lot tighter with refs. So some of those turnovers were offensive fouls, blocking fouls, things like that. So it's interesting to see how that team responds versus how the Lakers respond. And you could tell that the turnovers really stole the momentum from the Nuggets. It felt like the turnovers for the Lakers forced them to get focused, and they focused when it mattered. And it obviously it resulted in a W tonight.
I wasn't even. Let me just say this: I wasn't even nervous, really. I know this sounds bad, and I know a lot of you guys won't even believe me, but I really wasn't even nervous until Jokic backed AD all the way down and hit that hook shot to go up 1. That's when I got nervous. I really wasn't even nervous all the way up until then because I knew that we were going to have, make some kind of play or whatever. But that's when I got nervous. I was like, all right, well, AD got cooked on the post by Jokic. Only one person to redeem themselves after that, and straight cash on me.
Straight cash, 2 threes that he needed to hit, and he hit them. There was a lot. Anakat Mohan on YouTube says refs were on one today. And I kind of anticipated the Lakers were going to get called for a lot more fouls just simply because of the narrative that came out of Game 1. I don't know if I would say – I don't think half of them were warranted on either side between Game 1 and Game 2. But to me, the refs are pretty much – they're calling games the way they normally do, inconsistent. And you just kind of got to figure out how they're going to call it that day and then roll with it because the stuff Dwight was getting away with in Game 1 – they didn't let him get away with half of that stuff this game. And so if they were just consistently calling everything like Game 1, this game wouldn't have even been close. But I think you just got to kind of find out how the refs are going to call it and go with it.
I just think that they swallowed their whistle in that first quarter and in the first half. They let a lot of things go. And then towards the end of that, midway through the second quarter is when those whistles really started to pick up. And as a result, they were calling Dwight for the same usual ticky-tack fouls, and they weren't letting him get away with any of that. And ultimately, you couldn't get physical with Jokic as much. And KCP got called for a pushing foul off the ball on Jamal Murray. It was just those were a lot of the turnovers, offensive fouls.
Yeah,
not even really active live ball turnovers. Just turnovers by committing offensive fouls. So I'm sure we had at least 5 or 6, on top of, I think, did we have 1 or 2 technicals tonight? So
2.
I think
Phil
at
Handy
least
and
1.
Dwight. Yeah.
2, yeah. So Right. So I mean, ultimately, you can't give away free possessions, free points, free trips. Can't do that. So we got lucky at the end of the day, and that's what you need. I'll say it. Yes,
Yeah.
we put ourselves in a position to be able to take advantage of that luck, but ultimately, that's a pure skill shot by AD, and you got to have a little bit of luck in order to win a championship, and that's what that straight cash is about. Just a little bit of luck and some skill,
Yep.
and they give you a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and that for me like is everything you just said, man. It it just makes me excited. I just got to say that. It just makes me excited. The fact that we won this game and there's still so much that we need to work on. A few more comments here. Blake Sinclair said that if this shot was in Staples, they would need a new roof. Absolutely. There's a lot
Yeah,
of
we would have blew the
conversation.
top off that thing. Man.
Yeah, there's a lot of conversation about LeBron, and here's a few of them. I think LBJ is saving energy, but seemed not there in the fourth because of his first half. Chris Flynn also says LeBron taking his foot off the pedal in the third really hurt his rhythm in the fourth. And this is LeBron. Yeah, oh, that's funny. LeBron has 6 buzzer beaters by himself. So I have a theory about LeBron as well. I think if you notice that the defense today was different than game one, they literally built a wall waiting for LeBron James to get to the middle. And just after
They
reviewing
did.
some of the after reviewing some of the games through the season, I noticed that anytime they start building walls, LeBron tries to open up the middle by shooting threes and trying to get consistent from three. And hopefully he's able to draw out somebody so that he can kind of get through. He can get through a double team pretty easy. But when they put 3 and 4 people in the box, it's almost impossible for him to get going. So I don't know. Do you think there's something wrong with LeBron? Something he needs to adjust? He had 26 points tonight, so it wasn't like he wasn't scoring, but obviously it wasn't the normal performance that we're used to out of him.
We would have liked to seen him shoot just a little bit better. He was 3 of 8 from three. Overall, he was 50% from the field, played 36 minutes, had 11 rebounds, 2 of them offensive, but he had 6 turnovers and he was a -9
Yeah,
overall. I think he
yeah,
was the worst on the team in plus minus because he had that many turnovers. So,
yeah,
not a great efficient game. Great efficient first half, but overall in the second half he slowed down a bit. And personally, I think that's due to Vogel taking him out for extended periods of time. Um, but then also at the same time, it's on him to be able to ratchet up his performance, and he did so in the first half. But I mean, it was AD in the first game, LeBron offensively carrying the load in the first half, AD in the second half of this game. Look for LeBron to be a little bit more aggressive and throughout the full 48 minutes or the 38 or 40 minutes that he may play in game three, because this is a huge game, this game three. Again, I can't say it enough. 3-1 is different than 3-0,
the
and
three
that's what
zero.
we have a chance for on Tuesday. I
Absolutely.
can't wait for that. I mean, I couldn't wait for this game, but this game three, man,
Yeah, man.
to pretty much mentally punch our ticket to the finals at that point, because at that point you have to lose 4 straight to Denver. It's just not happening.
Nah,
It's not
nah,
happening.
nah. And you and like they said earlier, you broke their will. You broke their back on that. They're gonna come out. They're gonna be resilient. That's who they are. But they're gonna remember this game when it gets to crunch time. When they're about to hit an elimination game, this is gonna hurt their psyche a little bit that they couldn't get it done right. And they could have. That it's that one game that got away that could have changed the tide. Being 1-1 versus 2-0
You
in the
think we
Western Conference Finals.
you think we see PJ Dozier closing out this next game, or do you think that was just kind of a one-time thing for Mike Malone?
I think Malone liked his energy. I think Malone was kind of riding with who he thought
I did too.
could make a difference. Yeah, I think PJ missing those free throws was too critical. That's just it's just huge. It's I mean if you put everything together, I think he missed 3 altogether in clutch moments. Right, he missed the and one, then he missed
Yeah,
2 back to
I,
back. I don't know what you do
yeah,
with that. I
and
don't
then
know
he
what you
punched
do
the
with that.
ball out the net because AD made the three. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be on him. I don't know what's going to end up happening with him, but they're going to try to do whatever they can the closer they get to elimination. So you're probably going to see names that ain't got no business in the game, but whatever they can do to get stuff going. But at the end of the day, man, it's the Lakers just have too much going for them. Now, with that being said, I want to calm some people
Oh,
down.
oh,
Go ahead.
I don't mean to cut you off. I don't mean to, my bad, y'all. Breaking news. It is confirmed. Anthony Davis yelled Kobe after he hit that game-winning shot by Mike Trudell.
Anthony
It's
Davis
official.
called Kobe. I just don't know what you say, and even right now, man, they're showing a video of Frank Vogel. I really should put this on the screen if I could get it over there, Red. Of Frank Vogel talking about
What is he saying?
the Mamba mentality.
Man,
A Mamba shot.
it's a Mamba shot. Yeah, man.
It's a Mamba shot, man. It's a Mamba shot. That's crazy. He called Kobe.
Man, we got Elgin Baylor, 87 years old, on Twitter, tweeting about Anthony Davis and his smooth play buzzer beater for the win. I mean,
jeez, man.
Laker Nation is going crazy. It's just, I mean, the only person that can't take part in it is Jerry West because he decided to be a consultant for the Clippers.
Yeah, secretly he wishes he could come back and make a difference, man. I love it, man. That this game to me just made the whole anxiety worth it the entire time. I know, Jazz. I know you probably didn't even get nervous like you said until the end, but some of us were in there like, man, this feels like the Clippers game all over again. But the difference was that we didn't get blown out.
I tweeted out on the Showtime forum page. I said, "Here we go, buckle your seatbelts. I expect it to be close."
Yeah.
I mean, I knew we were going to get Denver's probably their best game, or if not close to it, because to go down 2-0 against the Lakers, I mean, what else do you have? So now, I mean, they're going to throw out. I mean, look for Jamal Murray to hit some crazy shots, throw up some crazy shots. Jokic was trying any kind of pass that he can. Jeremy Grant probably might hit shots. Monty Morris might hit shots. Michael Porter Jr., PJ Dozier, all those guys might make shots. But we have to be able to withstand that avalanche that's going to come our way. And if we can withstand that and be able to hit big shots ourselves and play locked-in defense, we can go up 3-0. If we don't, 3-0 is different than 2-1. The Raptors know that. The Celtics know that just from this year, as many other series. So when you have the ability to put your foot on the gas and keep it there, you got to do it.
Absolutely. And there was commentary in the Rocket series where they said LeBron James, if anybody understands the value of winning Game 3, it's just so valuable to win Game 3. Whether you're up 2-0, whether it's tied 1-1, or even if you're down 0-2, winning that Game 3 really sets the tone of how you're going to go forward. If you're going to mount a comeback, it's going to happen in Game 3. If you're going to establish dominance, it's going to happen in Game 3. If you're going to push for the sweep, it's going to happen in Game 3. So there's people, LA on Periscope is saying it. I think somebody else said it too. Anakat Mohan says Lakers were booty and still won. I can see this over in a sweep. I want to just calm everybody down real quick, right? Because I feel it. I know it. I'm excited too. But we don't want to get ahead of ourselves because it is a possibility of a sweep. Absolutely. It was a possibility of a sweep before we even got into the first game. But the truth is that you did. But what we don't want to do is I'm hoping for it. I'm hoping. That's what we want to. We want to use the word hope. We want to use the hope. So Anaket Mohan, I understand it. I see it. That I appreciate that. We could see it. It's on the horizon. It's a possibility. But at the end of the day, what you said is the most important part. It's just that the Lakers are not going to lose 4 games to this Nuggets team in the series, especially after what they did today. Yeah, especially after what they did today. Somebody asked, what is Danny Green doing taking 14 shots? He shot 10 threes today, only made 3, but shot 14 times and made 4 shots. I'm not totally mad at it.
He gets paid $15 million. Who else going to shoot him? Rondo? Caruso?
I'm saying.
Who else do you want shooting that? I mean, they told him just keep shooting. He still had 11 points. He still was a plus 10. He only shot 30% from the 3-point line, but was still a plus 10. Why? I've been saying this whole postseason. He plays defense, gets himself in a good position.
And what's funny is
rebounds. I think he had 3 offensive rebounds.
He had 3 offensive rebounds and 3 steals. Like that's, I don't know what else you do with that, right? And a block, right?
That's why. Whoever asked that, there's the answer to your question.
There it is. There it is. And some of those were rush shots in the whole 9. It was just like the end of the clock. But it's Danny Green. And if he's going to give you that kind of defense, and if he can hit at least 3 of those threes. I want to say this. Had Caruso made that 3 at the top of the key towards the end of that game, I don't know what would have happened? I think the internet would have shut down if Caruso would have ended up hitting that three. I'm so grateful Anthony Davis did, but Caruso was having a game.
I thought it was going to be him.
He was having that kind of game. He was having that kind of game, man.
He was.
Yeah, but I'm so grateful it was Anthony Davis. And if you get a chance to go look at NBA Twitter right now, they've already posted the game-winning shot in slow motion, and you just can't get enough of it, man. You just cannot get enough of it. It's so good to watch.
Yeah, I saw it. The father stretched my hands.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I can't wait to watch that in a minute.
I saw that. I can't wait to. Yeah, as soon as we get off this, I'm watching Inside the NBA, Access Sportsnet, going through, man. It's a great time to be a LA sports fan, let alone a Laker fan, because the Rams won. If you're a Rams fan,
the Rams did win.
You 2-0 to start. We went 2 for 3 today. Dodgers and Lakers won. I'm sorry, Rams and Lakers won. Dodgers couldn't beat the Rockies, but I'll take 2 out of 3.
I'm fine with that. You know, I'm obviously not a Rams fan. If you check over just right here on my shoulder here, just right here.
I know. I'm rooting for you guys against the Saints. Michael Thomas is out tomorrow.
Yeah, so well, we're not making the playoffs.
Stadium can get their first. They can get their first win.
We're not making the playoffs. So eventually, I'll get off the bandwagon.
Chargers almost beat the Chiefs today, but I know. You and John Ireland still on there.
He can never be allowed in the Raider family. He keeps jumping off. So here's a question. Here's a question for you. Will LeBron play better in the fourth quarter of Game 3, better than what he did in Game 2?
Depends. Will he even have to play the fourth, depending on how we come out in the next game? He's had a couple fourth quarters.
Yeah,
so,
man.
I mean, the real answer to that question is yes. Do I think yes? But you have to even ask the question. If they come out and beat up on Portland like they did, beat up on Denver like they did Portland, like they did Houston in a few of those games, when they just come out and just completely take their will. I mean, Markieff Morris didn't have any points tonight. He was a -8. Kuzma really wasn't himself. Rondo only had 3 points. Dwight Howard, who just had either 13 points or 16 points last game, I think 13 points, he only had 3, but still was a +10. I mean, you get a few more scoring options from the bench, and the bench shows up, and we play lockdown defense. We could beat the Nuggets in 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters, 2.5 quarters. I mean,
absolutely.
It all just depends on how we decide to come out and have the same killer mentality. And right now, LeBron's got to be thinking, man, we're up 2-0. Anthony Davis saved our ass. I got to come out with my A game and put foot on neck. R.I.P. George Floyd. No pun intended.
No pun intended.
But you gotta be able to keep your foot on. You got to keep your foot on the gas and get your team to the finals.
And what I love about this team, man, is that you know that they're not going to allow wins to detract from them preparing for the next game, taking the next game seriously, right? So we've never in the playoffs or even in the bubble, we haven't seen games where the Lakers didn't look at each game as a game that was a necessity to learn, grow, get better from. Hats off to the coaching staff for continually keeping these guys focused, motivated. They've been in this bubble for a long time. And for them to be able to stay as focused as they've been and keep coming out with the energy and keep coming out with the game plan and trying to execute, and even when they get hit in the mouth, man, like they keep coming back, that to me is the sign of a championship team in this situation. I know there's a lot of different talks about what makes a championship team, but you can throw a lot of that stuff away. The difference is you're in a bubble. This is the longest NBA season in history, right? I just don't know if any other team would be able to say they would excel the same way they did underneath these circumstances. Not detracting from them or any of that, but when LeBron says this team is built different, he's not just talking about on the floor. He's talking about the level of care and unity and chemistry and motivation and carrying momentum. One of the things I even tweeted in the Slack for Showtime Forum was watching JaVale McGee in that mini movie they did for Game 1 and watching him say, "We tricked off the first 2 games." Yeah. And then he goes, "We some dogs tonight." And they came out that game like some dogs. Now, that sounds crazy, but like JaVale, I don't even know how many minutes JaVale played, right? It didn't matter. He's engaged. Like, he's engaged in that, right? J.R. Smith, he's engaged. Dion Waiters, he's engaged. And that makes a difference, man. So
J.R. Smith been the biggest cheerleader on the bench, man.
and I love it, man. And I love it. And obviously, he joined the team because he wants to be in basketball. He wants to contribute. He wants to be on a team. But I'm so grateful that he had a chance to be in this chemistry and in this environment, because we don't know what's going to happen with JR beyond this season, right? But for him to get this experience and be able to ride again and be able to be involved, and here's the best part for me is that he gets to establish a new perspective on basketball. And that's a whole other story. But he talks about how it's real weird when it gets taken away from you, how you view it differently. And ain't no telling, man, what this experience is going to do for his veteran leadership. Yeah, man. I'm trying to get to one of the questions here. Oh, this is what it was. Chris Camello, man, your boy, Chris Camello, our guy from Showtime Forum podcast, of course. He says Magic was an 87, Robert Horry was an 02, Derek Fisher was an 04, Kobe was an 06, and now AD in 2020, and those are all incredible game winners. Now I know Meta World Peace was somewhere in there, if I'm not mistaken. 2000
Meta was 2010.
Was 2010, right? The 2010 year. But this, one of the things that was tweeted out was this was the first game-winning 3 since Robert Horry's game-winning 3, and I can't believe it's been that long. Yes. But that's crazy when you think about it. That's a long time, man.
To need a 3 in order to win a playoff game is pretty desperate.
Yeah,
we didn't need the 3; we only needed 2. But LeBron wasn't open, and Rondo found AD, and that just so. I mean, he was almost out of bounds too.
Real talk.
Look at it; he was literally less than an inch away from his heel being out of bounds, and thankfully he just cashed it.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Man, it's the first. Wow, that's the first 3 since Robert Horry, and I'll never forget that. I was 12 years old, running through the park with some family members at a family barbecue. I mean, like these Laker moments for people like myself and people that are watching this Showtime Forum post-game show, as well as yourself, just like how music brings certain memories up for you in your life and certain stuff that where you've been, what you were wearing, what the smell was like, little stuff like that. That's exactly what these Laker moments are like for me, literally. I can tell you what I did that day, what the surrounding circumstances were, all that. Same thing like today. I mean, I didn't do anything but watch football and go to Costco today, but I'll never forget this day because AD hit this 3, and I'm running around my house like a 12-year-old kid slapping my wrist up against the wall. So, man, thank you. That's all I can say.
Man, and here's what's so funny, man. PJ Tucker already talking, man. This dude has not stopped talking. PJ Tucker said, I would have blocked AD.
PJ Tucker?
Winner. PJ
Dozier or Tucker?
Tucker, bro. Tucker.
What did he say?
He said, I would have blocked AD's game winner. No cap.
He capping. My man capping. I want to say some things that I can't say on the slide about PJ Tucker in that tweet. Can you retweet that for me really quick so I can see it at the top of my timeline?
Don't worry. Just go to the Slack. Go to Slack, and David's already posted it in there.
Oh, go to the Slack. All right. I got so much stuff to go through. What else we got, man?
Listen. That's it. This is what I want us to do. This is the way we're walking into the week, guys. This is the swag we gonna have. Man. Okay. Obviously, the Eastern Conference Finals are doing their own thing. They don't play till Wednesday or something crazy like that. I don't know what happened with that. Like, they have like 2 or 3 days
They're
off.
waiting on us.
Oh, they're waiting on us. Okay, they're trying to play
catch up. On us. You don't want to have a team like waiting too long for the finals. I mean,
gotcha.
The Lakers had 6 days rest between each of these series so far, and they don't want that to happen leading up to the finals. You want to get a team in rhythm. So,
bro, Jay Edward.
I don't know who made that call, but that's got to be.
Yeah. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with that because we still got business to take care of. Jay Edward on YouTube makes the comment of the night. The timeline is mad at Danny Green, but everybody forgot he met Millsap at the rim in the first. I did. I ain't gonna lie, Jay. I forgot.
And blocked him. And then took it coast to coast with the finger roll.
With the finger? Oh, come on, man. How are we forgetting, bro? Jay, thank you for that. If nothing else that Danny Green did on that floor tonight, meeting Millsap at the rim was fantastic because Millsap could have banged on him real tough, man. But he, and it was a clean block. Clean block.
It's clean. Clean as a whistle.
Blake St. Clair says, continue the prayers for Danny Green. Keep the candles and incense burning. Man, I love these comments. It's fantastic, man. Chris Camello says, don't tamper with the basketball gods, Chaz. He says, don't tamper. This is your boy Chris said, don't tamper with the basketball gods. Talking to you.
How am I tampering? Am I looking too far ahead?
Maybe.
Chris, if you're watching, tell me how I'm tampering with the basketball guys.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man.
I'm saying we still got to come out tough. We still got 6 to go. It's not a foregone conclusion, but at this point, with the mentality that we have, as long as we come out with that hard defense in Game 3, keep saying it, 3-1 versus 3-0, it's different.
Now,
it's different.
I'm gonna need because before I spaz out, I'm gonna need whoever's controlling, whoever's doing the hype man tonight, to just check this on Periscope, because the Periscope name that I'm seeing here says Los Angeles Lakers, but I don't know if that's the real Los Angeles Lakers or not in our comment section. So I just want, before I flip out, it's probably not.
Saying what? They
tweeted Anthony Davis, best player on the floor tonight for Kobe. That's probably not the Los Angeles Lakers, but if it is, I'm turning this live off. And I don't know.
I don't know. Whoever's running the Lakers social media has been doing a great job. So I wouldn't, we're all a family, man. That's the crazy part about this. From us to, any of the other pages on Twitter, to the actual Lakers Twitter page, to some of the pundits and some of the other experts and everything like that. We're all a family at the end of the day. So if it is them, great. Thanks for supporting. If it's not, still great, because we got plenty of support from you guys.
We got plenty of support, man. We appreciate that, man. Yeah, so guys, this is it for tonight, man. We're about to go and watch these replays and celebrate. You guys rest easy tonight. Obviously, we have to get ready for Game 3. We talked about what things to get ready for, and like I said, tonight was a little bit different with our post-game show, because we obviously didn't go through topics and none of that, because that wasn't necessary tonight. We know we had a lot of issues. No topics. Game winner. Issues in the first half. Issues in the third quarter. No issue with the game-winning shot. Why? Because we have Anthony Davis. We also have LeBron James, and we have one of the greatest chemistry teams that you're going to find in the playoffs currently playing, man. So super excited about that. Okay, Showtime. No, that's a fan account. That's what I thought.
Last thing I want to say.
Go ahead.
Okay, that's a fan account. All right. Last thing I want to say. I thought to myself, I didn't voice this out loud, and it's just something I want to share with you guys, just between me and you guys, since we're family and all. I was thinking that we haven't had a playoff game winner in a long time, or just a game winner at the buzzer in general. I don't feel like we've had one. I think the closest thing we had was Danny Green's buzzer beater to force overtime, but it wasn't the win. Or we had AD, blocking Harrison Barnes at the buzzer, but it wasn't like a shot at the buzzer to win it. I don't think we had too many buzzer beaters, if any, this entire postseason. So I just thought to myself, while running around and getting ready for the game and all that it would be nice to see one. And boy, did we see one. Probably the biggest one that we've seen. Probably that one is probably bigger than Ron Artest, and I would say probably even bigger than .4.
Yeah, realistically,
because we didn't win it in 2004. And I think we're going to win it here in 2020. It's Robert Ory's, and then it's this one. That's if you had to rank it. I'd probably give the edge to Robert Ory because of that shot. But I mean, if you were ranking those game winners, I'd probably have to put Robert Ory 1, and then AD 2. Oh wait, hold on. That 87 Magic one, the mini junior sky hook. I mean, that goes without saying.
Yeah. We almost leave the Showtime era.
Celtics at the Celtics.
Yeah.
So
that was beautiful. I want to just point this out as we get ready to get off. Anthony Davis has done something that I don't think you're going to see any other superstar do in one season. Okay, he won a game by blocking a shot on the very last play. He won an All-Star game by hitting a free throw to win the All-Star game, and then he hits a 3 in the Western Conference Finals to win a Game 2. I just want to point out that all 3 of these things happened with the same player.
He had a steal to close the game too, as well, against the Pelicans in that first game back in New Orleans.
Yep, yep, yep. And
So he's
that's
closed out a game by making a shot, making a free throw, making a block, and making a steal.
I just
My
want to
man's
point out
different.
that's
My
way
man's
different.
different.
That means you can trust him at the free throw line. That means you can trust him at the 3-point line. That means you can trust him to cover the perimeter, and you can trust him to cover the paint. You are watching a once in a lifetime. This is a generational player that you're watching right now. There's nobody else you can trust with that, with the exception of LeBron, maybe. And the free throws are a little. We don't know about that, but we know that what we saw.
I just hope he. I hope he takes. I'm sorry. I just hope he takes 5 years, 205 this offseason. Please do it.
Please.
I know.
I don't know why.
Maybe he might just do a 3-1 to reset for the cap, but just sign for 5 years with the player option, your option in the 5th year. But
come on,
he's not going anywhere. But that's the deal that I want at this point because, man.
Yeah, man. Just pointing this out real quick. Just reading these last few comments here. That DG block was better than Kawhi's block. Blake Sinclair on to the next one. Absolutely. Jay Edward, big shot. Rob legit gave his prediction on the series the other night. I didn't catch that, but I'm gonna go try to find that. Jay Edward, if you can, throw that in the comments in the YouTube page later on, so I can go find that. And then my brother James White, who's out here in Houston, one of the Laker fans that are out here, he says, "Please note that we cannot lose in the Mamba jerseys." I love it, and I love how the Lakers aren't starting series off in Game 1 with those, but they're saving it for like Game 2, 3, or 4. And I'm all for it.
3-0.
3-0, man. So we are all done for tonight. We're gonna catch you guys on the next one. The next game is when? I believe it's Tuesday. Am I not mistaken? Tuesday will be the next game. So it's gonna be on and popping, and I can't wait, man. So relax tonight. Enjoy the win, Laker family. This is something that we've been waiting for a long time. We haven't been to the playoffs, haven't been to the Western Conference Finals, and we're still staring at the finals, and that's a possibility. But what a way to win Game 2. Anthony Davis doing his thing tonight. 105-103, Anthony Davis with 31 points, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks, and the game winner over Jokic, man. Beautiful night.
Pour up something, Laker Nation. Pour up something for the kid tonight.
Pour it up, man. Chaz, you have anything you want to give to the people before we get out?
Just be on alert. We dropping another podcast. Me and Chris Camillo, Showtime Forum podcast. We'll be on the post game on Tuesday again and Thursday. If necessary, obviously with Game 4. Well, obviously it is necessary, but not Saturday for Game 5. And can't beat LA. Go get your merch. You see how fresh my hat is. Hit up your boy Aldell. That way you can get fitted for this Laker ride that we about to go on since we headed to the finals, possibly in the next few games. And hit up GoldenKnightGFX.com to cop that Do It for Kobe shirt. And he just restocked a whole bunch of other shirts that have been fire as well. So get your merch, hit up the boys' site, and just be on the lookout for more content. That's what we do, Laker content, all day, every day. So I can't wait. 6 wins away.
6 wins. Keeping it in our brain, man. Chaz, it's always a pleasure rocking with you, man. Get some great sleep tonight. Get that rest, and get that wrist with some ice on it tonight so you can wake up and be able to cheer better, man. Get that Arsenio Hall hoo going on Tuesday, man. I appreciate y'all. We're going to check you guys